Welcome to week 2 of my fast fat loss, mini cutting, aggressive diet, whatever 4-week long cutting series. As you'll know, if you caught my last video, I'm going through a fast, aggressive mini cutting phase for 4 weeks where I'm losing some fat to give myself some further runway for massing because I've already been bulking for 9 months post show now. I'm getting a little bit tubby. It's time to trim off some of that fat to then go back into a gaining phase nice and quickly. In my last video, there were quite a few disclaimers and bits of important information that I want you to be aware of as to why my calories are so low, how a mini cut works, who should and shouldn't do a mini cut. So please watch that video before you watch this one, because I don't want you making any mistakes and not knowing what's going on, and I don't want you leaving comments questioning me and calling me stupid when I've already explained my reasons why in the previous video. I also discussed in that video that we have grown up and we have moved on from the anabolic diet, so we are focused on unprocessed whole foods, veggies, lean proteins that taste good. They are filling, they are satiating, they are hitting our macros, keeping us full, but they don't taste like pretend pizzas and ice cream because we don't need that. We're adults over here. From my previous video, there has been no changes in my caloric intake or my macros, but I have changed around some of the meals, changed up the structure a little bit, added some food volume where I was getting hungry, reduced some prep time required where things were taking me a little longer than I'd like. Basically just ironed out the creases of the initial meal plan to make a new and improved meal plan to follow for this coming week. After just 1 week of dieting, especially when you're in a 1000 calorie aggressive deficit, it's near impossible to make actually beneficial, accurate calorie adjustments just because you are battling those water fluctuations initially when your carbs just plummet and they're slashed in half in most cases. So we're not going to be making any changes this week, but next week there might be some changes. Probably not, because I'm already in a big ass deficit and I'm staying active, tracking my steps, but there might be some changes next week. So yeah, for this week, we are still at our 1,650 calorie mark. We have 4 meals. Yes, I know those calories are super low. Watch last week's video to understand why. But anyway, into meal 1. Meal 1 is up and running, and there are a few little changes from week 1. So as you will have known if you saw that video, again the plate was burning my hands, we had 200 grams of a few things in the first time, including potatoes. What I've now done is I've taken potatoes out of this meal and I've subbed them in for some lean protein. So I've got bacon medallions in there, and I've also added some vegetables to account for that volume. So I've got green beans now. So what we have is 200 grams of frozen green beans, 200 grams of mushrooms, 200 grams of egg whites, 200 grams of courgettes. Again, 200 grams is just easy to remember. And I have 2 bacon medallions. Scramble it all up, put some 0 calorie ketchup on it, and it tastes phenomenal. But like I said, it's not too good. It doesn't start the cravings. It makes you feel full. It is nutritious, not calorically dense, super filling. And I was just about to take the first bite and I remembered I didn't say the calories and macros for this meal, this big ass plate, will be up on the screen right next to my head here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to discuss in this video is the fact that knives are sharp. Be careful when you're cutting mushrooms because your finger slices just as easily as a mushroom. Education. Boom. But actually the main thing I wanted to talk about in this little clip is about hunger. My hunger in week 1 of this mini cut has been absolutely fine. It's been very low. I was expecting to be pretty hungry from the get-go, but not at all. I think the whole foods, the unprocessed foods, the vegetables, the proteins have been helping a lot. Did you just check your WhatsApp? Because it was mine, don't worry, I'm sorry. But I thought hunger would be increasing. It hasn't. I don't know if that is just because of my current food selection or if it is also because I'm coming off quite an aggressive surplus and my body doesn't need the food right now. It's not feeling like it's starving, and I'm definitely expecting that hunger to kick up for next week. But right now I'm enjoying some low hunger. It also helps that I'm super busy during the day, so I'm not really thinking about food that much. It doesn't make you want to eat, especially when you've got a lot of food volume in you already. If that hunger does kick up to crazy levels, I've got more food volume satiety tricks up my sleeve where need be. But it's only a 4-week mini cut. I don't think that's going to be necessary. I can survive it even if it gets bad. Okay, it's meal 2 now, and this is one that's changed. As you will have seen if you saw the last video, I was actually having French toast at this point, and I had my oats at the end of the day. If you are wondering what this recipe is, just check out my last video because I go through everything that's in it, but I will still put the calories and macros of this meal up here. But anyway, I changed it to second meal of the day rather than final meal of the day. Why is that? Well, I was finding that I was actually waking up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet a lot, and I think that was because of the amount of liquid in the oats. So even though it's a really nice way to end the day, it was making me wake up in the middle of the night to pee, basically. So I thought, just a simple swap, French toast at the end of the day, oats, protein oats in the middle of the day, and that stops any of those issues. So far, I've been doing it for 2 days now and it's worked a treat, so I think it must have been the case. Also, if you watched the last video, you'll notice I've got an upgrade. I now have a lamp, so that's pretty cool. We all like lamps. So yeah, I'm going to go eat this meal, then we'll chat a little bit more about the changes that you've seen in this diet, and I'll get you at meal 3. The next thing I want to touch on is food focus, because this is something that I used to really struggle with when I was following that anabolic type of eating, where I was making these anabolic recipes. Even when I was in a gaining phase, a massing phase, a bulking phase, eating 3,000 plus calories per day, I was still food focused because I was thinking about these recipes all the time. Now I'm in a 1,000 calorie deficit. I'm down at 1,650 calories. My calories are nearly in half, and I'm hardly thinking about food whatsoever. And I don't know what this is. It could be an improvement in maturity. It could purely be because I've ditched the recipes and I'm just focused on whole foods. But either way, whatever the cause of this lack of food focus is, I'm loving it. It feels really freeing to not be thinking about food all the time. And that probably sounds really stupid if you're somebody that's never struggled with food focus before. But if you're watching this channel, I'm pretty sure you probably have or are struggling with food focus. It feels really damn satisfying to not be thinking about being satisfied by food all the time. Just like, oh, I'm hungry, I'll throw this together, that's quick and easy, and it'll fill me up. And I make it, I eat it, and I move on with my life. Before, I would finish one meal and I would think about the next, even when I was in a big surplus, and that's just, it's not right, it's not how things should be. So this meal has been the biggest change in the meal plan for this week. As you'll see, it's looking very different to last week. Last week I was making a butternut squash, chicken breast and broccoli dinner sort of thing, and to be honest, it was really nice. The calories and macros were good, it was super filling, and it was, you know, nutrient dense food. But the preparation time, I just could not be bothered with it. I had to cook and season the chicken, preparing the butternut squash. If you've ever prepared a butternut squash before, they are like stubborn bastards. And, you know, getting broccoli so it's nice and fresh, it was just a bit of a pain in the arse. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, I was just not in the mindset to care to cook. I just wanted something quick and easy, and that's exactly what this meal is. And it probably looks familiar because it is very similar to my breakfast, to meal 1. So what we have here is 200 grams of courgette, zucchini, 200 grams of green beans, 200 grams of mushrooms, and 1 can of tuna. And as you'll see, all of that is a huge amount of food. But if you look at the calories and macros, which should be on the screen here, there's literally protein, like most protein bars have more calories than this entire plate. And to be honest, that's what happens with whole foods. You don't need to do these elaborate, crazy recipes to feel satiated and happy with your diet when you're eating basic whole foods. All I do is I put some 0-calorie garlic mayonnaise over this and some salt, and it's delicious. So yeah, the calories and macros are amazing. It takes me 5 minutes to throw together. It's absolutely optimal. So I think this one will be sticking with me to the end of the cut and for many cuts to come. And lastly, I wanted to discuss the side effects of this aggressive diet after just 1 week. The first thing is that energy has definitely been noticeably lower, especially when it's been a few hours after I've eaten. I'm approaching that next meal, and then when I eat that next meal, I notice energy levels back up again. So that's to be expected. I'm in an aggressive deficit, but my energy is by no means tanked. Like, I still feel good, I'm still happy, I'm still energetic. It's just I feel my baseline is definitely lower than it was before. The other thing is that gym performance has been surprisingly good. I was expecting my performance in the gym to just completely drop off eating such low calories. I've been absolutely fine. I've been hitting the numbers that I'd be expecting to. Obviously, my progressions in the mesocycle won't be as aggressive, but they are still there. And the pumps have also been good. I've been adding extra sodium into my meals, which I'm sure is helping with that. And I'm also staying very well hydrated because I want those pumps. Everyone likes a pump, it feels great. But yeah, energy levels lower, gym performance good, pumps good, sodium, water helping the pump. The last thing I wanted to touch on as well in this little section is that for the first 5 days or so, I was pissing a ridiculous amount. I was going to the toilet so often, like every hour, and it was, I was going. It wasn't like a little bit, like I was going. And that is because of the reduction in carbohydrates. I went from eating over 400 carbs every day to around 170 to 180 every day. So they were more than cut in half. And for every gram of carbohydrates in your body, you're storing around 4 grams of water. So if your carbs are massively cut, but your water, your fluid intake stays the same, you're not going to be holding on to the same amount of fluid. So all that fluid you are no longer holding. It's got to go out somewhere. Unless you're sweating it out like I kind of am, it's 32 degrees today and it's boiling, but you're going to be going to the toilet a lot. That being said, now we're into week 2, it has started to flatten out and I'm going much less. Hopefully that continues because it's really annoying. Essentially, less carbs, same fluid equals more trips to the bathroom. Alright guys, you knew it was coming. Last meal of the day, I alluded to it earlier, we have pushed back French toast to the end of the day, and also just to make everything work with the calories and macros, it's even bigger meal. So here we have 8 slices of 50 calorie bread, we have 200 grams of liquid egg whites, we have 150 grams of unsweetened almond milk, we have a bunch of cinnamon, and we have a little bit of sweetener in there. Yes, it's a ton of food. Yes, I guess it's technically an anabolic recipe, but like I said in the first video, I don't care. I love it too much, and it's super simple. There's nothing wrong with bread. It works for me. I don't care. The calories and macros will be up on the screen right here. And yeah, I'm going to go eat this, and then we'll wrap everything up. I don't know if you can tell, I am sweating my tits off. And there you have my full day of eating for this second week of the mini cut phase. This is exactly what I'm going to be following for the next 7 days. Like I said, I'm going to be doing one of these videos for each week of my mini cut, and I'll probably follow those 4 videos up with a 5th video, because that's how numbers work, just going over the results and summarizing some of the main things that I spoke about. Let me know if there's anything in particular you want me to cover in next week update. Cardio on a mini cut, training on a mini cut, let me know. Online coaching with Progressive Physique Coaching can be found in the top link in the description below, or you can email ashmaypt@gmail.com to join the team or to find out more information if you are interested in getting some top tier online coaching. Thank you as always for watching. Make sure to comment, like and subscribe to the video, it always helps out. Until next week, see you later guys.